Alright, creatures of the night, welcome to episode 77 of Talking Taker, our encyclopedic exploration digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time. My name is Alex Dorio, and I want to thank you for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking. And I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy, my fellow creature of the night, Mr. Travis White. And Travis, dude, I am wishing we were covering anything but what we're covering tonight. SummerSlam 2001. Can we just talk about like some of these Superstars episodes that they just put up on the WWE Network? Can we just switch over to that instead? Are you cool with that?
Yeah, sounds great. I haven't watched many of them yet. Yeah.
Awesome.
So on Superstars 1, we got a green screen. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Man, that'll be fun, though. We should have a bonus episode. We'll go back and do some what do they call those things when they're in front of the little, what do they call it, the wrestling event center?
Yeah. Oh, the event center, yeah.
Yeah,
those
center.
Promos. Oh, man, there's some great Undertaker footage in there. I've been just binge watching these Superstars episodes lately. Oh, I can't get enough of it, man. It's right in my wheelhouse of perfect time of being a fan. There's so many great characters. Undertaker fighting the Berserker. Ultimate Warrior getting voodoo curse put on him by Papa Shango.
Yes.
It's incredible, man. And,
good stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about this than SummerSlam 2001.
I'm not looking forward to the SummerSlam, eh?
Not tonight, not this one, but we got to do it, man. It's part of our obligation here to talk about this match along with every Undertaker pay-per-view match, and we're going to talk about the time that the Brothers of Destruction, the Undertaker and Kane, took on none other than the Jersey Boys, Diamond Dallas Page and Chris Kanyon, for the WWF WCW Tag Team Championships inside of a steel freaking cage. Yes, that is a real match that happened, ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it.
Yeah. If you were back in like 3 years before that, you go back to 1998, if you just had that sentence, like, I predict I'm going to see Kane and Undertaker tag against these two guys in a steel cage for both sets of titles, you'd have been kind of Nostradamus, man. Like, there's no chance. That's like pulling a bunch of random characters out of a hat and just saying, here's a random match we're going to have.
It'd be like predicting that Eric Rowan was going to play a pivotal role in the WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble.
Exactly like that.
What? Almost as weird as that.
Yeah. Almost as weird as that. So, who better than Rowan?
Well,
I could have thought anybody. Harper would have been great.
Yeah,
anyway,
better than that. Yeah. I mean, they got matching beards. I guess that's the only. That's
red
the thing.
beard. Yeah.
Well, let's get this over with, man. I definitely don't want to spend 3 hours talking about DDP and Kanyon tonight, although I do want to say a special thank you to all of our fans who made it through our marathon double episode last week. We had so much to cover, and we had fun doing it, and we appreciate it's crazy. I mean, we had pretty much the same listenership that we have every week.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys being committed with us, and really, we know you're committed with The Undertaker. That's what you're here for, but thanks for going along on the ride with us, and we'll try to never have one quite that long again, but you never know. You never know. As we go along here. But this one, no, hopefully. We're going to get done 30 minutes or less. Going old school. Not quite.
30 minutes or less? I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, this one won't be quite as much of a endeavor as the Invasion was. Again, there was a lot to cover there, and a lot of wrestle crap, a lot of OVW sidebars, a lot of weird stuff we had to cover there, a lot of stalker stuff. So, yeah, we appreciate you guys sticking with us and laboring through that. If it was a labor for you, we hope you enjoyed it. We had 2 songs, so yeah, gave you a little something extra, so good stuff. But anyway, yeah, this one will be a change of pace and change of taste for your taste buds, and a taste that I might want to spew in my mouth. Maybe. I think you want to spew it out a little bit more than I do, but we'll see as we get into it. So.
I'm going to try to stay positive here, man. I've got my Kanyon t-shirt on, thanks to our buddy and our listener. I talked with him actually last week. He still listens every week, Jay Stanley, our good buddy here. He gave me a Who Better Than Kanyon shirt about a decade ago, man, and I pulled it out of the attic this morning and had to wear it to record this. I'll post a picture of it on Instagram. I don't know where it came from. It's definitely Definitely bootleg, but I love it so much. It's incredible.
Yeah, when you appeared on my screen, and I totally forgot that you owned that, and had to go back in my memory bank and remember that Jay gave you that, and I'm very jealous because I love me some Kanyon. Rest his soul.
And that's the fun thing about this podcast is we get to talk about. Of course, we talk about legends like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kurt Angle and The Rock and Mankind. We got plenty of episodes like that. But the great thing about Undertaker's career is we get to talk about randos like Chris Kanyon every once in a while, and that's what makes this fun. So let's dive into it. Let's try to have some fun with it. We're going to pick up the night after Invasion, July 23rd, 2001, on Raw episode 426. And of course, we left off with the Undertaker and the WWF losing the inaugural brawl to Team WCW and ECW after Stone Cold Steve Austin joins the alliance, and Undertaker still very much feuding with Diamond Dallas Page for stalking his wife. They fought off into the crowd in the middle of that match and ran away out of nowhere. And, you know, maybe you could blame Undertaker for the WWF losing. I don't know. But it did happen there. And Stone Cold, he doesn't give much reasoning about his heel turn from last night. The big reason is that Vince apparently did not appreciate his hugs. So that's the level of storytelling that we're getting in summer of 2001.
Yeah. Wow.
That's real, folks. That's real. DDP we're going to see him backstage. He is sitting by a cooler with about 50 waters in it in his locker room for some reason, really trying to stay hydrated. He was a health nut back then, apparently. And his buddy Kanyon walks in wearing not my Kanyon t-shirt. He's got a different t-shirt on, man. A lot of people might remember this. Probably the best part of Kanyon's run. He's got the Invasion MVP shirt on, showing up to chat with his buddy. And if you're wondering why he's the Invasion MVP...
What's the deal with the shirt here? The Invasion MVP? How's that? The way I see it, you know, the whole alliance. Yeah. We won the Invasion last night 6-5, right? And that 6-man tag match I was in last night, I pretty much single-handedly won that match. You did. So if I didn't do that, the WWF would have won the Invasion. The whole night would have been a disaster, but I came through. I was the MVP, and I went out. I got this cool shirt made, and besides, who's better than Kanyon? Right? Who's better than Kanyon? Hey, nice shirt. Hey, that's gonna sell like hotcakes.
Logic totally makes sense there.
It's the Invasion MVP, Chris Kanyon. I love it, man. So good. Hey, I also love his voice.
His voice is great. He's a great performer, man. Super underrated. And, you know, it's a shame that he's no longer with us. And I think that's why a lot of people have kind of forgotten how awesome he was in the ring. But even here, you know, he only had a couple months of screen time here in the WWE, really of any note. But at least he was trying to get himself over here, which cannot be said of a lot of these WCW guys. They did not know how to do it. And Kanyon, he had personality shining out throughout all this.
Yes, he does, man. He always did in WCW. I mean, freaking Mortis, dude. I loved Mortis when he was Mortis. You know, I love that. Loved Chris Champagne Kanyon. Loved all the stuff. The Positively Kanyon. Everything he did was great for me. And plus, just because he's such an in-ring master, man. He what they call him, the innovator of offense. I think, the innovator of violence was Tommy Dreamer. Innovator of offense was him. And he came up with so much unique stuff for the time, you know. Nowadays, everybody probably does half his moves, but he came up with a lot of stuff. We'll see some of them in this cage match we're going to cover, too. So
he helped choreograph Ready to Rumble. You know, probably his crowning achievement there.
And you and I were there for that opening night.
Oh, yeah. So much fun. Talk about underrated.
Yeah.
We love Kane so much we once fought over his action figure. We couldn't decide who was going to get to keep him.
I wasn't trying to steal him. I just wanted to see him in the package. You grabbed him off the shelf. I just wanted to see him. I wasn't going to take him from you. So
you keep preaching your lies, brother. You don't have to, man. Whatever helps you get you through the night.
Whatever helps me sleep at night, eh?
That's right. Well, Kane is the star of this show, man. He gets coming out performance here on this episode of Raw. He meets up with Austin, Deborah, Steph, Paul, and Shane, the authority figures of the Alliance. And Austin's like, who the heck is this guy? And Kanyon's like, I'm the MVP right here. And Austin tells Kanyon, I'll tell you who's better than Chris Kanyon. Stone Cold Steve Austin's better than Chris Kanyon. And so
there you go.
Kanyon promises from now on he'll ask who better than Kanyon besides Stone Cold Steve Austin. So promises to make amends on that.
Which I don't think he does that. Actually,
no, he doesn't, but it's
at least
hilarious.
he promises to. It's funny because Austin is like the leader of this alliance, and part of this whole storyline going forward to SummerSlam is like he doesn't know any of the guys in it. It's actually kind of funny. The whole thing with him and Sean Stasiak's pretty funny.
It is funny. It makes everybody look like jokes, but it's funny.
It does make them look like jabronis. And they don't mean jack squat, but it's at least Austin's hilarious. So.
He is. The conscience of the WWF comes out, along with Mrs. Conscience, Undertaker, and Sarah, and they're going to take on your boy Rhino, man. So I don't know, who the heck were you cheering for in 2001 in a match like this?
I might have just had to turn it off. No, I know exactly what I was cheering for. It was Rhino.
Yeah,
I promise you.
Yeah,
promise you, I was cheering for Rhino because I was so not a Taker fan right then. Because I just didn't want to see his stupid wife on screen. Stop taking away my dead man.
Well, you would go on to be very disappointed on this night as Taker blocks the gore with a big boot and gets the pin. He gets the choke slam on Rhino as DDP is making his way out of the crowd and starts creeping on Sarah, as we have seen so much over the past few weeks. Taker gets the pin, then he goes after DDP to a pretty big response from the crowd. And Taker, it's much like King of the Ring, man. He just manhandles DDP, beats him up into the crowd, tosses DDP into the ring, and here's where it starts to get ridiculous, is that Undertaker sends Sarah onto DDP, and she becomes Stone Cold Sarah Calloway here, man. She starts stomping a mud hole in DDP, just unloading on him, to the point where Taker has to pull Sarah off of DDP. But Sarah pushes Taker away and continues to go after DDP just repeatedly. And I just had my head in my hands watching this back, man. It was so friggin' ridiculous. DDP gets no offense in.
Well, it's like you mentioned last week. We haven't been introduced to her except for, like, she just, here she is, you know. It's not like she's a wrestler who has, you know, we know she has ring skills or we know she's, you know, has a temper or whatever. She just suddenly shows up on screen and puts her dukes up and fights DDP. It's just like there's no investment in her character, you know, or her physicality even. So to see her just getting the best of DDP, we've already mentioned how much he's been buried at this point. To see that just further buries him. I mean, it makes him look like a schmuck, you know?
It's not like Nia Jax coming into the Royal Rumble. Like, she's a wrestler. She's also, you know, very sizable. She can match up. She's bigger than half the guys that she was in the match with. And, you know, whether you like it or not, you could buy something like that.
Sure.
Sarah is...
China was like that.
You know, 90 pounds and also not a wrestler. I mean, even... Like Candice LeRae, she's not huge either, but you just establish that she's a wrestler, so you buy that if she's up in there up against guys. Sarah, this whole thing has come out of nowhere, and it's like it's being shoved down our throats. It's like if Miss Elizabeth suddenly got in the ring and started beating up Hulk Hogan. Like, you wouldn't buy that.
No, not at all. That's a perfect like analogy there, Miss Elizabeth. Yeah, that's great, and no one would buy that at all. She's supposed to be the damsel in distress that can't hold her own, you know? So, well,
DDP continues to take this beating so much that Taker actually goes outside and he gets a chair, which allows DDP to grab Sarah's hand, and Taker goes for a chair shot on DDP, but DDP pulls Sarah in front of him. So Taker clobbers Sarah in the back with a chair, and DDP is able to escape that way. Taker's obviously devastated over this mistake, but again, like, Taker almost sort of caused the problem for himself there. It's not like DDP actually did much of anything to get the heat here. Is basically, you know, Taker hit Sarah himself, so it's still not allowing DDP to get much of anything in here. But anyway,
if that were 2019, the crowd would have chanted "Thank you, Taker."
They would have. They would have. That shows you how much things have changed. You're right.
Exactly.
Taker's going to carry his wife to the back, screaming for an ambulance, and then Coach is going to go interview DDP, run into his car, and this is where we're going to see the turn begin to happen of DDP going from this guy who's stalking Sarah to help get himself over and make a name for himself to a guy who is in love with Sarah and wants to be with Sarah. DDP talks about that. He says the pain and anguish in Sarah's eyes turned him on, and he hops in his rental car and pulls off, and it's only going to get worse from there, folks.
Yeah, it is. This is, like you said, this is where they just really jumped the shark with the Stalker aim. Because even the Stalker stuff we covered last week, he made a point to say, you got to go to the big dog, you got to go to the top, make me famous. But like you said, now it's like it's becoming his character now. He's literally falling in love with her. We're going to see some things he's going to start doing to display his love for her. And it is just, it sucks. That's all I can say.
It does.
It sucks. It sucks. For someone who is such a big fan of DDP like I was and you were, like, to see him fall this far. I mean, I don't know.
It's just weird.
It's worse than him tagging with David Arquette. Like, this is worse than that.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We'll see.
It absolutely is.
Kanyon is going to get a chance to shine here again tonight. He takes on Y2J, so, bit of a cool match right there. And Jericho says, as he's coming out, he's got a mic, he says, it's clear that everyone in the arena is better than Kanyon. And he goes around ringside and starts asking people their names and says, oh, you're better than Kanyon. This guy's better than Kanyon. Nice work from Jericho. And Jericho actually forces Kanyon to tap out. He gets a full-on lion tamer on him, dude. Like, knee in the back on a lion tamer. It was nice to see that.
Absolutely. I'm marked out for seeing that. He does it a couple more times throughout this build, and it's just great to see that, man. Because we didn't see that a lot in the WWF. Saw the old Boston Crab instead. Yeah,
I always popped when he actually busts out the Lion Tamer. But there you go, man. Kanyon, the guy who's going to get the tag team title shot here, is jobbing out of Jericho at the beginning of the month. I don't think they quite knew where they were headed yet, but we'll see.
I'd say no, they did not.
Yep.
So that brings us to SmackDown 101. So this is July 26th of 2001, and so we're informed at the beginning of the show that DDP is going to take on Kane tonight, and apparently Taker is at home with Sarah based on what happened Monday. There's this Alliance promo where they bring out all the gold that they're wearing, all the gold, and I forgot that they've had almost all of the titles in the entire federation at this point. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they have, one set of tag team titles. They have the U.S. title, the world title, the WWF title, the Intercontinental title, the Cruiserweight title. It's a bunch of it, man. So
there's so many titles, man. It's
yeah.
One of these episodes of Raw or SmackDown is like every single match had some sort of champion in it, or some of them had two titles, and it's just like it's kind of devalues it a little bit when every match is a championship match and feels like there's I don't know, there's a dozen titles floating around at this point.
Absolutely. Well, during this promo, we learned that Booker T has gifted his WCW US title to the Alliance MVP.
Just giving titles away.
But dude, who better than Kanyon to give it to, man?
You're right.
So now Kanyon is the United States champion. So good for him. He never amounted to anything like that in WCW. So anyway, we get the Lugs Boot of the Week as Taker smashing his wife with that chair from Raw you just covered. So we get DDP versus Kane. And I just wrote there's some great post-production heat for DDP. You can tell it's not real heat, but you can tell it's piped in, even though Pritchard says it's not. Forget that. It definitely is. Because the crowd's what you hear in your ear holes is different than what you see on screen. So
a little bit of sweetening going on.
A little bit of sweetening. Maybe a little stevia-ing. I don't know. But anyway, sorry. Had to get a dad joke in there or something. But anyway, it's been a while. So, yeah, it's some good heat, though. But WCW ref Nick Patrick is the referee for this match. And he's going to play a role in some of this build. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. But anyway, DDP brings a chair in the ring, and he swings it at Kane. And Kane ducks, and he grabs the chair from DDP, and he nails DDP with it, and Nick Patrick calls for DQ. And for some stupid reason, JR's like, but DDP brought the chair in the ring. That's some questionable officiating. No, it's not. You can bring anything you want in the ring. It's who uses it.
That's right.
Like, I don't know, man. It was definitely an off comment for JR. Like, I don't know. They're trying to get over this Nick Patrick is favoring the Alliance, but
right.
that really wasn't it. That wasn't the spot to
Just
play it in.
reaching for it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's It's a DDQ is about what I almost just said. DDQ. It's a DQ. And DDP smashes Kane in the back with a chair just for good measure to add a little icing on the cake there. But then Kane's going to sit up like it's 1998, and DDP gets scared and bails, and Kane turns around and chokeslams Nick Patrick just to put more icing on the cake, I guess. There, just solidify what's going on, and he's angry. And this is also the episode I just want to mention where Angle wins a WCW title from Booker T in Pittsburgh. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, if anyone remembers that, so.
More titles changing hands here, and we're going to continue to see that. Raw of 427, July 30th, 2001. We get a bit of a throwback to earlier in the year as Taker and Kane are going to face the Dudleys in a tables match here. But the highlight of the show is at the beginning of the show as Dreamer, Taz, and Paul Heyman come out and forcibly remove Michael Cole from the commentary table per the request of Stephanie McMahon. And Paul Heyman is going to replace Cole and be with JR here throughout the invasion. So definitely a highlight of things here.
Well, why they didn't do that at the Invasion pay-per-view, we don't know.
No, we'll never know. Shane and Steph and Vince are all outside waiting for a limo to arrive with The Rock. And that's the major storyline going on here these next few weeks, is that The Rock's going to be coming back. Vince has lifted the suspension on him that's kept him out of action all summer while he's been shooting a movie. But he's going to be the guy to come save the WWF. And we'll talk about that here when we get to the Survivor Series. But anyway, The Rock, a limo pulls up, but it's not The Rock. It's the Invasion MVP, Kanyon, popping out instead. And he tries to get an MVP chant going, but everyone just walks away disgustedly.
He's awesome.
It's great.
That's all I got.
Canyon's going to team up with someone else here, Lance Storm, as the U.S. champion and the IC champ are going to team up for the first time ever here, taking on Edge and Christian. And
dang.
Yeah, dang for Kanyon and Lance Storm, because they're treated as jokes, man. JR is just burying both of them on commentary, even though they're both title holders. And especially Kanyon. He's just talking about what an idiot this guy Kanyon is. And again, it's this problem of everyone's got a title. If everyone has a title, then none of these titles mean anything. There's so many of them. But Storm and Kanyon do actually win. There's a little miscommunication between Edge and Christian as they are headed towards their breakup here in a few weeks. And Storm and Kanyon do get a win there. And then
what a tag team that could have been.
Could have been, yeah. We could have had some good matches. We did get Storm and Hurricane, though, for a little while. It was a fun little tag team. We get a video package recapping everything that went on with Sarah last week, and Coach interviews the Dudleys, who confirm that they want to put Sarah through a table tonight. But she won't be safe backstage either, because DDP could be lurking after, wanting to come after her back there too. So Undertaker's in a bit of a pickle here, but he decides to bring Sarah out with him. So the whole family of destruction heads down to the ring, and the family that destructs together stays together.
Exactly.
Heyman on commentary says this is a mistake by Undertaker, and really the only way for Sarah to be safe would be for the Undertaker to join the Alliance. So sends out an invitation to him. And
so stupid.
It was. I mean, it's
heel stuff. It's
no. Heyman's great on commentary.
Yeah.
We haven't been mentioning this much either because it hasn't really had to do with Undertaker, but same thing with titles being everywhere. It felt like, did you feel like there was a tables match on like every other week on TV? Yeah. All the time, man.
Ever since 2000, I feel like we've covered a tables match every other episode of Raw or SmackDown. It's crazy how much they give them away for free. And again, at this point, you don't have any competition. Like, why are they doing that on free TV?
And the rules seem to change from week to week too, because sometimes you have to put both guys through the table, but like tonight it's just the first person to go through a table, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I hate the inconsistency there. So.
Well, a little bit of consistency is that Nick Patrick is the ref, and Taker's going to go for a chokeslam on Devon through the table, but Nick Patrick's going to shove the table out of the way.
I remember that like it was yesterday,
Well,
watching it like live. Like, he just throws the table out of the way. It's amazing.
Taker's obviously not happy about that, but DDP's going to run in, hit a little Death Valley shot on Undertaker. And, of course, Sarah is going to come in and try to fight DDP herself.
Of course.
But DDP manhandles her, and he gives her to Bubba. Bubba's got that look in his eyes, and he's going to attempt a Bubba bomb off the top rope through the table. He gets Sarah in position, but Taker's a little slow getting there, so Bubba has to hold Sarah up forever. But Taker and Kane stop him, and Taker ends up choke slamming Bubba through the table to beat the Dudley Boys at their own game. And DDP's going to run away out of fear here. So, again, the DDP-Taker feud continues, but DDP
one-sided.
is completely one-sided. Yep.
It's ridiculous. Well, it's going to get more ridiculous here. Talk about shark jumping. Here it goes. So, Smackdown 102, August 2nd, 2001. We see DDP earlier today backstage, and he's got this shrine to Sarah. And I say shrine, I mean like he's got pictures all over the wall. He's got candles. It is freaking creepy, man. It's like something out of an episode of Criminal Minds or something, man. It's ridiculous.
It's like something out of Hey Arnold.
That too.
Helga Pataki had a shrine to Arnold.
The
That's
football
what it looks
head.
like, yeah.
Exactly. But he's like, you're a very bad girl and you need a bad boy like me. And it's just like all these sexual overtones and stuff. And he basically starts to make out with a picture of her on the wall. Like he's getting in her face and like putting his lips on hers. And it's just like, and he even admits here, like,
When this all first started, Sarah, I just wanted to be famous. Now, I just want to be yours. I think we need some private time.
and then he goes full blast and he licks a picture of Sarah.
Yummy.
Thanks, Ace. He licks a picture of Sarah and blows out the candle for some alone time. He says.
Did he pull out a bottle of lotion too?
The camera cut away before we could see that.
It should have just went all the way with it.
They might as well have. I mean, they might as well just had a shark door, like a floor mat that's a shark, and he just jumps over it. That'd have been amazing.
So, are we to believe that DDP just brought all this stuff with him to the arena in his bag to set it up in the locker room?
Well, I'm going to get into that in just a minute. I think it's actually off-site. So I think that's the case we have here. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But then as this episode plays off, I think they start to mention that it's off-site. But I don't know. I can't really put any rhyme or reason to what's going on here. So,
well, not to get ahead of ourselves, but he does the same thing on Raw the next week too. So he travels with his shrine.
I guess
sets it up at every arena.
I guess he does. Oh man.
Which I mean, the luggage costs weren't quite as expensive back then, but still,
we had to have like 3 carry-ons for all these candles and stuff.
Jeez.
But man, yeah. So the Alliance MVP Kanyon is out, and he's got a question for those on Capitol Hill. Who better than Kanyon? So it's just great, man. They're in Washington D.C., so it's good stuff, man.
Well, that's something the entire government can agree on, right there.
Who better than Kanyon?
Yeah.
Exactly. Nobody is. So
except for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Exactly. Except for Stone Cold. Well, Kane's pyro goes off, and I just assume we got a match going on here, and it's actually for the U.S. title. And Nick Patrick is the referee again. So near the end of the match, Kane goes for a chokeslam, but as he does, Kanyon reaches out and grabs Nick Patrick and tugs on him. So when he does that, Kane does get the chokeslam on Kanyon, but Nick Patrick's like, well, he touched my shirt, so he calls for DQ to let
that's
Kanyon
enough.
win. Exactly. Touch my shirt. Man, too bad Conan didn't come over. Oh man. Yo, that's enough. Oh man, that took
Oil
me
of
back
Olay
there.
all day, every day.
All day, every. That's what DDP was just saying a minute ago.
Exactly. all day, every day.
Oh man.
Whew,
So
you go blind
Kane,
doing that.
Yike-a-roni. Jeez. It's okay. Kane does win this match, but it's by DQ. So Canyon's going to keep his hard-fought U.S. title here, and Kane's going to turn around and chokeslam Nick Patrick once again. Making a living out of chokeslamming Nick Patrick. And at this point, I just asked myself, are we building to a Kane versus Nick Patrick match at the SummerSlam?
Yeah, with one arm tied behind his back.
Exactly. Oh, man. So later on, we get an in-ring segment that ends with Deborah smashing a plate of cookies over Steve Austin's head. I just had to mention that because really stupid. Yep. But anyway, we see Bill Regal backstage, and he tells his pal Tajiri they need to go find Taker. So later we see Taker and Sarah barging into Regal's office, and Taker's like, why is my match with Booker T tonight not a WWE title match? He says, I've been riding around DC all afternoon trying to find that skeezer, DDP.
Can you explain something to me? What the hell good is it to wrestle the WCW champion and it be a non-title match? What, am I not worthy? I spend my whole damn afternoon going around every little sleazy dive hotel in DC looking for that skeezer page, and I get back, and the only way I get to relieve any aggression is a match with Booker T for what? What, for pride? I got plenty of pride. I'd like the title.
I had to rewind it, dude, and he said skeezer.
Skeezer.
I guess that's a derogatory term, maybe? I don't know.
It can't be a good term.
It can't be good, though.
No.
They're trying to find that skeezer DDP, and he's like, am I not worthy? He said, is it my job to persuade Booker T for a title match? And Regal's like, okay, fine. And so he says, I'll take my aggression out on Booker T tonight. And then he looks at Tajiri and he's like, what are you looking at? Tajiri's like feigning, like he's scared and stuff. Tajiri was perfect for this role backstage.
Fantastic, yeah.
So good.
He really shined.
So yeah, that's why I think that since he was driving around looking for this skeezer, I think it was off-site, like in a hotel or something.
Okay.
But again, it doesn't make sense for what's going to happen on Raw. So like you said. So anyway, Booker and Shane make that match a WWE title match. He's like, I'm going to prove that I'm worth it and prove that I can win around here. So Taker then walks out with Sarah by his side for his first ever WWE title shot. So
wow.
Yeah. Didn't get one as mean mark.
No, not back then, no.
Yeah, got that U.S. title shot against the Flex Luger, but getting the WWE title shot against Booker T.
A dream come true for Mark Calloway.
Exactly. Shane comes out with Booker, and Taker's really, really aggressive. Again, I just like the way he sells his character in the ring, man. It just can't be. He did it back when he was a dead man. He did it when he was in the ministry. It's really cool. So many guys nowadays don't do that. It's just a match, another match, another exhibition. But he's very, very aggressive here. They actually have some pretty good chemistry, which I wasn't sure they would. They kind of have I don't know, their styles kind of clash, but seeing him in the ring was pretty cool here to revisit. So, of course, Shane's going to get involved on 1,000 occasion. He's like punching and kicking Taker behind the ref's back, and eventually Taker goes and he grabs Booker by the throat, and Shane grabs Sarah by the arms and uses her like as a shield to kind of get Taker's attention. And Taker stops and he goes out to help his wife, and Sarah starts elbowing Shane McMahon in the head.
Oh my God.
Of course, yeah, exactly. And Taker comes out and punches Shane like in the face and knocks him down. Again, Shane bumps like a fish out of water. He's amazing. So Booker then attacks Taker from behind with a chair, and he starts hitting him, and he rolls Taker in the ring and goes to use the chair again, and he does. The Rock slides in, and he nails Booker T with a rock bottom. So lots of schmaz stuff going on here. The ref's knocked out. Shane and the Rock getting bumped again, and Alliance, the B crew of the Alliance come in, and they start eating a bunch of choke slams and rock bottoms from Taker and Rock. And Taker and Rock stand tall as the Alliance members bail with their tails tucked between their legs and kind of disappear up the ramp.
Usual.
So, yep, par for the course here. But this Taker and Rock together kind of reminded me of them we covered a couple years ago when they kind of started siding with each other a little bit.
Former tag team champions.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny to see them come around again together. So
Very cool stuff, man. We'll talk about Booker T at a later date as well, a little bit. We move on to Raw 428, August 6th, 2001, and here's where things are kind of actually start to come into place for the pay-per-view here, 2 weeks out. But first, the hardcore legend, Kane, former champion, is going to take on RVD for the hardcore title and a battle of future tag team champions as well, because wrestling
that's
is
weird.
Weird, yep.
Yeah.
This is a fun little hardcore match, man. They had good chemistry with each other. But DDP comes in, hits Kane with a couple of chair shots, which allows RVD to hit the 5-star for the win. And Kane immediately sits up and chases DDP into the crowd. We get we get a look backstage at the Hey Arnold shrine that DDP has now moved into the arena. And he appears to just be praying at it, lusting towards it. I don't know what's going on here. Man, this, like you said, this whole story has gone to an absolutely ridiculous level. And DDP's just saying he wants Sarah, he needs Sarah, all this creepy stuff. It's I tell you what though, DDP had an impossible role to play here, and he committed to it 1,000%.
Yes,
I will give credit to DDP for that. This is completely the writer's fault for coming up with this terrible storyline. I can't blame DDP one bit because he's doing it, man. He's in this character.
Yeah, he's doing a great job at all of that, the acting and everything. He's like you say, he's all in. I think he's just excited to be in WWF, and he's going all in for it. But yeah, it's like, it reminds me of like when Stardust, when Cody Rhodes did Stardust, like it sucked, but like he put his heart and soul into that. You could tell,
Yeah, he got it over.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, not to be said here for the Stalker.
Well, if you need further evidence about the writers during this time, let me just fill you in on a few of the feuds happening on this episode of Raw are about cookies, as you mentioned, on SmackDown. That continues on to Raw. Stalkers, as we've talked about. A girl getting dumped for a mop. Acting auditions where Booker T and The Rock are feuding over a role at taking acting roles. And Planet of the Apes, as we get a movie tie-in where a bunch of people in ape costumes throw a pie into Stephanie McMahon's face. Yep. That all happens on this episode of Raw.
Didn't Bruce Pritchard say that Vince just loves apes? Like, he loves gorillas and stuff? Like,
I guess.
He's like, Vince thinks monkeys are funny and stuff. So
why is that not surprising?
He's like a child. I'll never forget this episode with the Planet of the Apes, Chris Jericho stuff. Man. Oh, it was god awful back then.
It's just we're in an alternate universe, man, with some of these stories. Yeah. It's bizarro land. Undertaker rides into the arena. Sarah's on the back of the bike here. I don't know. I wish we would have seen more of that, or in the sidecar, But, Kane meets him up in the parking lot and says, "You better be glad I waited on you here. I wanted to go after DDP, but he's got this shrine backstage. It's even sicker than the last one."
Ew.
Taker's like, "Well, if you don't mind, just tell me where the shrine is. Then you take Sarah over to the APA, let them watch her, and then you come join me and we'll destroy it together because this has gone on way too long." So now he's got a plan in place to protect Sarah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
The APA.
The APA. Makes sense. Undertaker finds DDP's shrine in the arena, and he's even got a picture in the shrine of Undertaker and Sarah's wedding photo, and he's got DDP's face photoshopped onto it. He went all out with it, man. And Taker begins to destroy it, and I just did air quotes for all you guys listening on the podcast since you can't see me, but I say that because he has a very difficult time actually trying to destroy this. There's like a TV monitors with the video footage from a few weeks ago playing all throughout there. And I don't know what happened, if he was not supposed to destroy the monitors, but he rips them down very gently. And then there's all these candles in there. So I think he's trying not to set the room on fire because he's just lightly tearing pictures off the wall and not actually doing anything to destroy it, but trying to look like he is, and it just looks really lame. But
oh man, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, as he's doing that, we see a shadow appear in the corner, and DDP walks in, and Taker goes to beat him up, but it's not DDP. It is Kanyon doing something we saw him do in WCW a couple times, impersonating DDP.
Yeah. Did he have his blonde wig on?
He did, yeah. He was in full DDP gear. That leaves the real DDP to come in and use, I don't know what they're called. It's like the thing that Scott Steiner and Lex Luger used to have, the little muscle pump up bar. Yeah. I don't know what that thing's called.
I think muscle pump up bar sounds good to me.
Close enough.
Accordion stick, I don't know.
Yeah.
Stick ball bat.
Wax Undertaker with one of those, and him and Kanyon beat up on Undertaker until Kane runs in to save his brother, and the two DDPs run away out of the locker room. And dude, I'm not even exaggerating here, but this scene was like one of the worst, most embarrassing things we've covered in 77 episodes. To see Undertaker like a not being able to destroy the locker room, and then just the silliness of the Shrine in the first place. It was just, oh man, it was brutal. BR brutal.
Was it worse than IRS?
Yes, it was. Whoa. This is terrible, man.
Whoa, that's horrifying. Oh man, I have to go back and watch that because I don't remember seeing a recap of that on the next episode of SmackDown. Maybe
probably
I thought it was terrible
so
too.
Bad, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to SmackDown 103. This is August 9th of 2001, and the show opens with an alliance meeting backstage, and Austin's up on the table, giving a pep talk about how unified everybody is and stuff. So, just trying to again building this alliance versus WWF thing. But again, if the alliance won, shouldn't they kind of be in charge? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But
right.
Anyway, in the opening match, we get 2/3 of the Jersey Triad. We got DDP and Kanyon here, and they actually win the WWF Tag Team titles from the APA. So a little bit of continuity there, where the APA was holding Sarah on Monday.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so at some point they got the tag team titles. I don't remember how that happened, but we're playing hot potato with these titles
so
right here,
much.
man. It is so much. Like, people thought Russo was bad at it. Like, there's 400 titles in WWF right now, so they're just flip-flopping and flying like a cruiserweight. So, at some point the APA won them, and they lose them to DDP and Kanyon here because Test, of all people, helps. He comes out and interferes and helps the APA to lose this match, and he's going to defect to the Alliance on this episode. So I just wrote in my notes, holy crap, Kanyon is a double champion. Kanyon has the U.S. title and the WWF Tag Team titles. If you'd have quizzed me on Kanyon being a former WWF Tag Team champion, I would have forgotten. And I would have said, no, he held the WCW ones during the Alliance. I forgot he held the WWF one. So
that was their big way to try to get heat during this time, was to have the WCW guys hold WWF titles and vice versa. But yeah, they saw something in Kanyon, man.
Sure, must have. He's a double champ, man. He's the only double champ in the Alliance at this point because Booker T gave him his title, So DDP and Kane are celebrating backstage with Test, and Test says he's going to go get a table at the Viper Room for them. So I'm not sure if they're going with Eric Bischoff or what they're going to go do. But anyway, Regal comes up, and it's actually kind of neat here because he comes up and he tells DDP and Kanyon that now that they're the WWF Tag Champs, they fall under his jurisdiction. So at SummerSlam, they're going to be defending their tag team titles in a cage match against the Brothers of Destruction. So they're pretty incredulous about this. I mean, DDP is kind of, is what it is, but Kane is really going over the top, selling it oh no, But again, why did it warrant a cage match at this point?
I'm stumped. I got nothing for you. Yeah.
Just because they needed an attraction? I don't know.
Pretty much. There's no real reason given for it.
Well, something I mentioned earlier was David Arquette and DDP and how they had a little bit of a cooperation back in WCW. Well, this former WCW heavyweight champion, David Arquette, is in the audience tonight at this episode of SmackDown.
The Alliance pulling out all the stops, man.
Yes, bringing back all the former champions, man. So
what if he jumped in and got involved?
I know. He would.
Came after The Rock.
He would. Yeah, that'd been great, dude.
Oh, man.
So Well, Palumbo and O'Hare, two of our favorites, they're all fired up backstage. They want to be there for Austin after his, speech earlier in the night. So they want to make a name for themselves. And they want to be leaders. And Austin's like, don't back down from anybody. So they go into Regal's office and lay out a challenge for any WWF tag team tonight. So Regal says, I'm going to give you real competition as long as you guys put your WCW tag titles on the line. So they're like, sure, we'll defend them against whatever mystery opponents you want. Well, it actually winds up being our boys, the Brothers of Destruction.
There you go.
So, yeah, a lot happening here with the tag team. So I think they just decided, this morning to, make this happen.
That's exactly what it sounds like. But I'll tell you, it works. The way they tell the story works with Regal making all these stipulations. I buy it.
It does. I like it. And, again, another thing I like is that Kane and Taker actually give these two young guys, they sell for them a lot. Give them a lot of offense, allow them to hit a lot of offense, I think. But as the match kind of breaks down toward the end here, the Brothers of Destruction, finally they hit stereo choke slams and actually double pin them to win the WCW tag team titles. So another tag title reign for our tag team specialist, The Undertaker.
Chalk it up, man. Another one.
Is on the board at SummerSlam. It's not a steel cage. It's champions versus champions.
Who knew? Such a freaking tag. And it all started in New Japan.
Champion. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. All started in WCW with a skyscraper. Dan Spivey.
That's right.
No, I guess he was. He was because Sid was out.
Right.
Yeah. So little did he know, he become a wonderful tag team specialist. So I just want to mention one last thing about this episode. This is iconic. This is where Rhino gores Jericho through the Ovaltron, thus ending this era of the SmackDown sets. And we'll see what happens next week on SmackDown when it comes to the set. So
very cool, very important, very historic right there. We definitely marked out for that. I know you did.
Oh yeah, 100%. I absolutely did. Yeah.
So let's go home to the pay-per-view here. Last couple shows, Raw 429 on August 13th, 2001. This is another historic moment here. A promo probably a lot of people remember. This is Stone Cold's giving another pep talk to the whole alliance, and he gives a special recognition to the new tag team champs, DDP and Kanyon. And this might be a segment you remember where Stone Cold just absolutely buries Taz and Raven and Tommy Dreamer and Hugh Morris and makes fun of all of them, tells them they're all terrible, they all suck, and it's very weird. But more importantly, it's also where Stone Cold debuts what? Says it for the first time, and it's a moment that some wrestling fans in 2019 probably wish never had happened in the first place, because it still interrupts promos to this day, but it's iconic, and it was very... You wouldn't think anything of it as he's doing this promo. He just slides it in there as he's saying,
"Your name is Hugh Morris." "What?" "Your name is Hugh Morris." "What? Is that funny? Is that humorous? Are you here to make me laugh? What? You're pathetic!"
And the crowd doesn't get it. They have no idea. And who would have known that would go on to be one of the most iconic catchphrases of all time.
It's amazing. And it all started with a voicemail he left on Christian's voicemail. How crazy is that, Here it is. I was wondering when we were going to get to the birth of the what chant. So, because I remember it being real big when he interrogates RVD backstage. Remember that? Later on.
Yeah.
I knew it happened before that. But I couldn't remember when. So here you go, man. That's awesome. I'm glad you pointed that out. So, what?
That's it right there.
What?
That was it.
Right there.
DDP and Kanyon are going to be backstage talking to Palumbo and O'Hare, because Palumbo and O'Hare are going to get their rematch tonight with Taker and Kane inside of a steel cage, because what better way to announce to advertise a special attraction than by giving it away for free 6 days beforehand?
That's a very Russo thing to do.
Oh my god, so stupid. But
What?
I said it was dumb,
Okay.
stupid, idiotic,
What?
terrible,
What?
Russo-esque.
What?
Roman of the week.
What? Sorry, I'll stop.
And
What?
okay, so oh man, this segment with DDP, Kanyon, Palumbo, and O'Haire, it was just made me sad, man, because half of those guys are no longer with us, dude, and we loved all 4 of those guys, dude. So absolute shame that just made me sad seeing all 4 of those guys in a segment together.
I'm glad you brought that up because I don't. We like to be lighthearted and have fun here, but I do want to break it down and, if I can borrow from Lance Storm, be serious for a minute. But it is sad because O'Haire and Kanyon are both gone, and think about Mike Awesome too. He's gone as well, and they're all in the alliance. And unfortunately, all 3 of them died by their own accord. Took their own lives, and that really sucks. Those are 3 of my favorite guys, from this era, especially Mike Awesome and O'Haire. But to see them all here and then just to know how their lives end up sucks, especially Canyon's, because his apparently was because he was gay, and apparently everybody knew that, and no one cared, but I guess he was insecure about it. But anyway, we have great memories about these guys, and they had such a future ahead of them. We wish we could have seen some more of them. But anyway, that's our serious moment for the week.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Way too much talent, and I mean, it's horrible when anyone does it, but especially these guys when we're a fan of them and get to see that. And it's great that we still have their memories and their the stuff that we can go back and look at. But what could have been, man? What could have been?
Do you know how old Mike Awesome would be right now?
He's probably only in his 40s. I mean, he probably could still be going.
He is only a month younger than Steve Austin.
Oh wow.
He's 50. He would have been 54 last week.
Okay.
That's crazy to think, because we think of him as so much younger than the rest of the guys, But it's amazing. I was blown away. I had to look it up and see, just because I was thinking about these guys and seeing how young they passed away and what age they would have been today. And he looked great for his age back then. Yeah. I had no idea he was Austin's age. So anyway, sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, absolutely. That's
rest in peace.
In all seriousness, yes.
In all seriousness,
to all those guys. Well, this cage match here, just another wild sentence that we're getting: Undertaker and Kane versus Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Haire for the WCW Tag Team titles inside of a steel cage on Monday Night Raw, with no announcement to it. But there you go. And, I know you said they gave Palumbo and O'Haire a lot of offense on SmackDown. That is not the case here on Raw. This is one of the biggest squash matches inside of a steel cage you will ever see. They absolutely decimate these young bucks from WCW, and including Chuck Palumbo doing what was probably, if I had to guess, his first and last ever blade job in this match.
Wow.
He actually gets color in here. And Taker and Kane beat on these guys far past the point of trying to win the match. They're just sending a message to DDP and Kanyon, who are out there watching at the top of the stage. And Taker gives Palumbo a last ride, and DDP and Kanyon make their way out to try and circle around Sarah, who's on the outside. But Sarah just decides to climb onto the cage. Kanyon and Paige try to climb after her, but Taker tosses Sean O'Haire into the cage, which knocks DDP and Kanyon off as they're trying to climb it up. And they get the win here. They do a double pin on Palumbo and O'Haire and pretty much end their WWE career, as a tag team at least, at this point right here. And this is, I just have to say, this is not the type of burial we enjoy seeing from Undertaker on this podcast.
Right.
It's not what we like, but there it was, man. And this is where we're getting into the time where, we're huge fans of The Undertaker. We always try to stick up for him, but I think his critics would point to moments like this as things they might not like about Undertaker or him, burying people, because this 100% was.
Right, because he has enough locker room clout in the back to say, no, let's give these guys some, let them get one up on us or something. But I guess he was just like, screw this WCW.
Not tonight.
Yeah. Not Now, what's Hogan always say? Can't do that for you, brother. Or
Doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me, brother. Yeah. Doesn't work for me, brother. I guess is what he was saying backstage a lot. So, anyway, well, that was the go home Raw for SummerSlam. That's it is what it is. So, we're going to take us to the go home SmackDown here. SmackDown 104, August 16th. This is a go home for the SummerSlam. Again, in my tribute to Bret Hart. This is the first ever live SmackDown on UPN.
Woo.
And we get a new opening song as well. We got Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson. Whoa.
Perfect.
I hate that song. Whoa.
Me too, but
it fit.
God dang it if it didn't fit for SmackDown. What do you think, man? Do you think this SmackDown opening or the original? Which one's more iconic to you? Like when you think of SmackDown, do you think of this or do you think of the
yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I think of that music, but I think of this set it's about to debut.
Okay.
I wish we could combine the two. Because this is the debut of the SmackDown Fist busting through the glass, which, again, I love this set, especially because that SmackDown game, you could climb up there and jump off of it.
Yes.
It was awesome. So, wish no one ever did that in real life. I don't remember. But
I know. We always used to think Jeff Hardy would do that at some point.
We did.
But he never did.
Never did.
I think I picked this one. This entrance, this opening. When I think SmackDown, I think Beautiful People, and I think this opening video. And maybe I think it's because of the video game. Whatever. I think it was Just Bring It. I think is what had that intro, and I think that's the one I played more than anything. So maybe that's why. But yeah, the first one was great too. But this is SmackDown to me. Beautiful People and these guys.
That's funny, man. Yeah, because I do think of the original song, but I do think of this this era and this set. But the Ovaltron is iconic, but I really do like this set though. So yeah, we got the debut there of that here, and Kanyon and DDP are going to defend their WWF tag titles against Edge and Christian here, and that match could have been 5 stars, man. So,
sure, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not because they win after Lance Storm interferes, helps them because he's kind of, I think he and Mike Austin were he's kind of feuding with Edge a little bit here, and they're building that Edge and Christian, they're going their separate ways a little bit. So, old Clean Cut Coach interviews the Brothers of Destruction backstage, and he asked them about the champion versus champion match at SummerSlam. The tag teams versus the Dosto tag titles versus WWF tag titles, and Taker says that he's going to need to make an example on DDP, and he's like, Paige has got me puzzled. He starts off saying that he wants to be famous, and now he's making a shrine to my wife, and which, again, is exactly my sentiments in real life. Yeah, so it's like, I'm also puzzled, so positively puzzled. So I don't get it either, but Taker says he hopes DDP studied his WWF history because he has a great history in cage matches. He talks about Hell in a Cell and anything like that, and which again, let's go back. The first Hell in a Cell, you lost. So, a lot of people forget that, but anyway, but then Taker actually does put over Kanyon. He's like, this guy's a great worker. He's got some innovative offense here. He's got a bright future. Why would he associate himself with this louse DDP? He didn't say louse, but I just had to. But
Skeezer.
He's like, yeah, Skeezer. Thank you. Why would you, associate with this Skeezer DDP? So. Again, I do appreciate Taker putting over Kanyon there, not just calling him some kind of chump stain and I'm going to squash you like a bug, and which is what happens. But anyway, it's nice to put over your opponents because then when you beat them, you beat somebody.
Yeah,
so
it means something.
Yeah, but he says this Sunday is going to be no place to run and hide, and it's going to be ugly, which is so prophetic.
Yes, it is.
So prophetic. So, later on in this show, SmackDown, we got Taz versus Kurt Angle, and both guys have I don't think it's a lumberjack match, but they both come out with other members of their company with them. And Taker and Kane are some of the guys that come out to kind of flank Kurt Angle, and of course after the match, the Alliance and WWF guys get into this huge brawl, and then the show just kind of goes off the air. So that's the end of the build up to the SummerSlam 2001. So short and sweet.
Not short enough, in my opinion.
You're right, yeah.
But, it's just this whole bizarre twist of DDP's character change. I don't know what necessitated this, who decided to make that change over to making DDP the psychological stalker into the actual creepy stalker.
Yeah.
But it's, what more can be said about it? It just completely takes his character off the cliff, jumps the shark, ruins everything, and thank goodness it didn't last much longer besides this. But it's gonna go out in a quite the burial here as we talk about SummerSlam, the SummerSlam 2001, August 19th, 2001. San Jose, California here, man.
Compaq Center. Which, weren't we just in San Jose? I remember talking about when Austin was actually getting some heel heat, him and Triple H. I feel like we were just in San Jose.
We probably were.
Not very long ago. So, anyway, we got another good theme song opening up this show. We got Let the Bodies Hit the Floor by Drowning Pool, dude.
So, wait. You think that's a good song, but Beautiful People is not?
No, neither one of them are good songs. They're great wrestling songs.
Okay.
But
that's a great point. There are good songs and there are good wrestling songs.
Yes. I hate
completely
Nickelback
different
with
thing.
a passion. But that opening song for Raw was perfect,
Papa Roach.
I hate Papa Roach with Fiery Passion, but that song was perfect for Raw. Okay. They're great wrestling songs.
Great way to describe it. Yeah, absolutely.
But dude, this creepy opening awesome music video with like the Bodies song playing and this cool promo for the show. It's really neat, really well done. So
rest in peace to that guy too, the guy from Drowning Pool.
Bray Wyatt. Yeah, he looks like Bray
not
Wyatt.
Look like Bray Wyatt.
But can't you see Bray Wyatt singing "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor"?
He should come out with Elias and do that sometimes.
They might as well.
Yeah,
they've already killed that character.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
This is a good show, man. Good show overall. Yeah. This opening match, Lance Storm and Edge. Seriously, this is one of the best openers you will ever see. I don't know why more people don't talk about this match because I didn't watch the whole show.
The alliance angle.
I guess so.
That's why.
Yeah, but this is like the peak of Lance Storm in WWE right here, man.
So good.
I freaking loved this match. I hadn't watched it in years, but I always remembered it being good, so I watched it before this match, and I'm glad I did because I could watch something good. But this match was great.
Edge really coming to his own in the singles, as a singles wrestler,
Yeah. Jay Stanley, if you're listening out there, which I know you are, go watch this match. You will really enjoy it. I know you will. Just made me think of you, buddy. Overall, man, there's some other good stuff too.
There is, man. This is a fun little 6-man. It's got that spot where Tess just launches Spike Dudley off the top rope through that table, and it just crumbles like it's, made out of toothpicks, man. It's insane. And then also Rhino and Jericho, man, with a good match. And this is one where Jericho gets gored as he jumps from the turnbuckle to the outside. It's a pretty cool spot. And then also that RVD and Jeff ladder match, which those guys can never have a bad match.
Right. Yeah.
Angle and Austin just ripping the roof down off the house. But I remember being so mad at that match because Angle has Austin in the ankle lock and Austin touches the ropes, but the ref won't call it. I remember that being so mad about that. But anyway, that match ends in like a schmoz, but that was good. And I was wondering, why was that match not on last? And I forgot because it was kind of a schmoz finish there because we get, again, another match to end this show. A match that I know I, as a fan, have been wanting to see since '99.
Right.
And that's The Rock versus Booker T.
Dream match.
Yeah, dream match, man, for sure. And all those good things we mentioned, those good matches, neither one of us said Undertaker and Kane versus the Jersey duo.
But here we go, man. We get a video package of these guys recapping the past month of DDP adjusting his mission from wanting to become famous to wanting to make Sarah his own. And we see the WCW Tag Team Champions, Undertaker and Kane, walking backstage, headed to the ring, the Family of Destruction, along with Sarah. And Kanyon's going to come out first here. And maybe I want to ask you a question here. So, you talk about DDP, loving DDP's music, WCW. It's WCW music.
Yes.
Back in the day. And that was, of course, a ripoff of Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit. Wouldn't this have been a great opportunity to make Kanyon's music a Pearl Jam ripoff and have him come out to some version of Better Man?
That would have been great, man.
Who better? What better man than Kanyon?
Who better man? That would have been wonderful.
That should have been his music.
Who better man than Kanyon? That would have been great, dude. Oh, what a great little throwback that would have been. That would have been so awesome.
Both the
Plus,
Jersey
I'd
boys with the
have
grunge
marked out
music.
Yeah. Plus, I'd have marked out like a champion here for Kanyon. So.
Oh man, absolutely.
Oh, that'd have been awesome. They definitely should have done that.
They had who had the Jeremy ripoff, and that was or Even Flow.
Jericho.
Jericho had Even Flow ripoff.
That's why I fell in love with him.
That was it.
Oh yeah. Then I enjoyed his work, but it was first I enjoyed his music.
So
anyway,
that was number one.
Yeah. Well, speaking of music, Kanyon's music starts off with "Who better than Kanyon?" That doesn't get any better than that, man. That's perfect. So.
Well, they do. The Jersey boys do not look excited about what's about to go down. But Paul Heyman is all right behind him, man. He calls DDP and Kanyon the greatest tag team champions in WWF history. And JR just has an absolute conniption about this. Heyman's been doing it all night for every WCW guy, just calling him the greatest champion of all time. That's incredible. He's full on heel mode. It's great.
Oh, he's great, and again, it's just refreshing having them on commentary again, and it makes the angle better because he can be for all the heels and JR can be for all the faces. It's just what a missed opportunity last week at Invasion not to do that. So I don't get it, man. But Kane and Taker come out and get their combined intro, but for some reason Roland's not on this. It's like overdubbed with that Dead Man Walking song. So
these music addicts just don't have any rhyme or reason to them on the network.
No. But they do walk down with a purpose, and Sarah's holding a chain and a lock with her. So, she is. So we'll come into play here in just a minute. So
DDP might get excited about that.
Hey, he may.
Well, the rules of this match are the worst type of cage match rules because it's pinfall, submission, or escape. Man, I always hate that. Just have it be one or the other. Have it either be pinfall or have it be escape. That just frustrates me. But
see, and let me speak on this.
All right.
Hold on, like me a little Conan. Okay, so as a kid, I thought that I just thought that was stupid. I thought the escape thing was stupid. I thought the pinfall thing was stupid. I wanted it one or the other. But then, like, as I got older and started to realize what a cage match was supposed to be, it was like the blow off, like back in Memphis and the NWA days. It was like the blow off and like to keep anybody from getting out. And so they were always pinfall matches.
Yeah,
they weren't escape. I think WWF is the one that introduced the escape. Like, I always thought that was stupid, and it, like, I don't know. I guess it sometimes can add some drama to it, but once you see somebody climbing and getting pulled off, there's only so many times you can see that to make it, mean anything. So, yeah, but as a child, I just hated that they were one or the other. I wanted them to be, it's either pinfall or it's escape. Don't make it both. Like you said, it's too much, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's too unclear because they change the rules all the time, too.
Like, why would you go for the escape? Why would you try to climb out the cage when you could just pin someone? Because it's going to take 20 or 30 seconds to climb out of the cage, and you can just pin somebody in 3 seconds. Like, yes. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, or why would you climb over when there's a door?
Yeah, that too.
You could just walk through. So again, time to take an international flight to go next door. So,
yep,
make any sense.
Well, it did kind of make sense that there's a WCW ref in the cage and a WWF one on the outside, since it's got both titles on the line here. So you got a ref from both companies here, and Taker, it's Kanyon and DDP are pretty much already begging off as the match starts. But Taker and DDP are kind of stalking their prey, just savoring, taking their time as they make their way into the cage. And Taker is going to jump in the ring, slam the door, and Sarah is going to padlock it and slip the key to the chain around the door down into her shirt.
And how is that legal? If it's okay to win by escape, how is it okay for this guy to have his wife lock the door?
To have his manager have the key to the cage. Exactly.
That's a heel move.
There's going to be a few more from Taker and Kane. A few more heel moves in this, too.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, the heels immediately scale the chain link fence, and they're brought down by the Brothers of Destruction. And when I say brought down, I mean brought down. Kanyon is thrown from the top of the cage to the middle of the ring. to start the match.
Yes.
Where do you go from there?
100 miles an hour.
How do you go? That's the biggest bump you could take, except for going to the outside. That's the biggest bump. How do you go? Where do you go anywhere from there?
Nowhere. This match doesn't go anywhere. It has absolutely no flow to it and almost no heat for the most part, too. Man, that's another thing. Tag team cage matches are just always weird, especially if there's escape rules to it. I mean, you could do it if there's just pinfall or submission, but having escape rules, you have this huge logic gap where if you want to win, one guy's going to have to go out and leave his partner in a handicap match, basically. That just has... Right. I've almost never seen a good tag team cage match. Maybe once or twice ever, because it's hard to overcome that logic gap.
Yeah, that you're like strapped by the book and you can't... But like, it should be the first team member to get out, that team wins. Like, not both of them. It should be whoever touches the floor first, just like a regular cage match is, a singles match.
Because in a tag team battle royal, if one person goes out, then the whole team's eliminated. So do the same thing for a cage match. If one person gets out, that whole team wins.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, why would you even ever walk out unless you're taking your partner with you?
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense. But again, where do you go from that giant bump to start the match off with? And then lots of punching by DDP, and Kane is in the corner just owning Kanyon, man, just making him his whipping boy, like he's Christian or Edge or something back a year ago. So DDP's getting beat up in the corner by Taker, and Taker goozles him, and then DDP gets a Death Valley blow to Taker. So again, it's legal here in this cage match, so by all means, knock yourself out.
It's no DQ. There's not a lot of wrestling going on, not a lot of moves. It's a lot of fighting, a lot of punching, a lot of kicking. It's all kind of going in slow motion, too. It's just not the best action you've ever seen. Kanyon... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and one thing that I know we mentioned last week about how, DDP's gone on record saying, like there's no heat between him and Taker and everything like that. And, it just... they brought in under the wrong circumstances. The angle just kind of was dead from the start. Well, another thing, and take whatever you want from this, but some of the rumors that flew around back then and still fly around today about DDP and is that he liked to script everything. There's documented stories of him, bringing literal pages of a match, like especially with him and Randy Savage. Randy Savage did the same thing, and he learned from Randy a lot, and because a lot of people say, that Savage Steamboat match was pretty much all scripted. People don't want to hear that, but it was. And DDP would do that too. He would sit there and script everything out. Well, Taker doesn't do that. So I've read some things saying that that's one of the things, people speculate that's why, Taker kind of put the kibosh on this and said, I'm done with him. But, DDP's gone on record saying that's not it. But so who knows? I'm sure there's a little bit of truth and a little bit of, fantasy and all that. But DDP is known for scripting crap, and Taker's known for calling the ring, pal. Let's just go do it. So that definitely would play into them being a clash of styles between them two, which we mentioned last week. They're just kind of clunky in the ring together.
Well, Taker's calling just tremendous beatdown in this match. That's all he's calling. It's a lot of offense for him and Kane.
All right, tackle, drop down, beatdown.
That's it.
Tackle, drop down, beatdown 2.
Kanyon gets chokeslammed by Kane, and JR gets in the line of the night here, man. As Kanyon goes up and comes down, JR says,
nice fight, bad landing, no peanuts.
Must have happened on JR's flight, man. They ran out of peanuts for him or something.
I have never had peanuts on a plane.
Are you kidding me?
They always give me pretzels. They never have peanuts on a plane.
I guess they don't anymore, but they used to, man.
Everybody's got
peanut
allergies,
allergy.
man.
Ah, man. As a
You
kid.
freaking people with your allergies.
I got my little Delta wings and peanuts when I was a kid. Dude. I remember that.
Man, I never got peanuts on a plane, but anyway, yeah, dude. Nice flight, bad landing, no peanuts. That is just... If you're not...
It's the worst kind of flight right there.
Exactly. It doesn't get any worse than that. So, Kane gets a buckle bomb to Kanyon, but he doesn't throw him onto the turnbuckle. He throws him on the corner of the cage.
Yeah, just beating the crap out of him, man.
And this was an era where Kane, you guys remember listening at home, remember when Kane was trying to get over the power bomb as his finisher? Like, not the last ride, but he would like do like almost like a fall away power bomb. He'd power bomb and he'd kind of go to the mat as he did it too. So I remember appreciating Kane changing it up for a little bit, but learning from his big brother here, getting some new repertoire.
Doing his Hurricane Rana.
Exactly. But yeah, Taker's then repeatedly smashing DDP between the ropes and the cage, just running back and forth and just smashing him. And then he finally finishes off with a giant big boot as DDP's head smashes against the cage. And at this point, Taker has to do something we don't normally see him do. And go ahead.
Well, he motions to the crowd here, and that finally does get them up on their feet here as he plays to them and gets them up. That's used to be Paul Bearer's job, but I guess Undertaker's got to do it for herself here. Sarah should have been doing that, man. She took any lessons from Mr. Bearer's opus.
But she doesn't know because she's not a freaking wrestler.
No.
Go home.
No.
Nobody wants you here. Ugh.
DDP wants her there, but...
Sorry. None of us at home wanted you there.
Exactly.
So.
If you're playing Undertaker Bingo, then you can mark off the square where Undertaker scares the ref and gives him an intimidating look. So we get that spot in there. Kane whips Taker into the ropes, but Kanyon hits a flying clothesline out of nowhere onto Taker. They're going for a double team there, but Kane hits a flying clothesline, and Kanyon tries to escape. Kane catches him. Kanyon fights him off, and then Kanyon hits a top rope famouser onto Kane, which was a nice little move there.
I remember when he used to do that in WCW. I used to think it was so cool, man. And I remember Tony Schiavone just being like, "Oh, what such innovation!" So we could do that. So yeah, hit that top rope famouser was pretty cool. So, and then DDP hits a DDT to take it, which even JR calls it that. Or maybe Heyman, I can't remember. DDP with a DDT. So from his pal, his mentor, Jake Roberts. So
that's right. And they're finally able to take over here for a little bit, the Jersey Boys. But instead of going out the door, which they can't do because Sarah has the key, which should not be legal, they're forced to climb out of the cage. And DDP and Kane make it to the top, but the brothers stop them. And Taker actually stands up on the top of the cage and boots Paige down off the top of it, which was a pretty cool little visual there. See Taker stand up the top of the cage, and Paige crotches himself on the top rope on the way down.
Yeah, last time we saw Taker on top of a cage, it was Armageddon, wasn't it, 2000?
Yeah, throwing Rikishi off the top of it.
Throwing Rikishi into the dust.
Yeah, there's no sawdust here for this match.
No. Oh, man. But, yeah, so, and as DDP's, knocking, or getting knocked off by Taker and crotching himself, Kanyon is like hanging upside down from the top of the cage, like toward the ring. And Taker instructs Kane to let him go. Let Kanyon escape. Let him get out of here.
Why not?
And Kane listens to his big brother. Shouldn't that have been like your psychology from the second the match began?
It's so silly.
Yeah. So he does. Kanyon leaves. And
he's not going to see him again. He's gone. He runs
He's
away.
Gone. He gets out there, and as he's doing that, Taker's still on top of the cage, and he reaches into like this black horse feed bag that's on the I don't know what else to call it. It's like a bag for eating oats out of, and he reaches in there and pulls the old biker chain that he had back in May.
That's right.
On Judgment Day.
The Equalizer.
So, exactly. Pulls out Denzel and throws him to the mat. So.
Well, now DDP is going to continue to get his beating here. They take turns just clotheslining DDP into the corner. Taker hits a sidewalk slam for a 2 count, but Taker, of course, pulls DDP up because he's not done with him, and the straps go down for Taker. And Kane is just chilling on the top turnbuckle, just sitting and watching his older brother take DDP to school.
Remind me of Steve Austin in 97 Rumble, just sitting there looking at his watch. Oh, one thing when you said when Taker pulls up DDP before the 3 count, it's like he gets a 2 count and he pulls him up just to get a little more offense. Paul Heyman's like he's like, oh, look at DDP's ability to kick out there. It's so good.
It was great.
Because JR is like, no, Taker pulled him up. It's just such a great heel thing. It was definitely like a Jerry Lawler thing to say. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then Taker's like, he tells DDP he's got a choice here. He's like, you can leave and never come back and never lay your eyes on Sarah. It gives him an option. It's a little multiple choice test here, I guess. See what he chooses.
Yeah, it's a rare show of sympathy. It looks like from the Undertaker. He's DDP's just begging off, and says, "If you ever look at Sarah again, I'll kill you." And a shocked DDP is like, "Are you serious, bro?" And Taker says, "Don't ever come back." And so DDP starts to climb out of the cage, and the crowd is booing. Kane is confused here, but just kidding. Taker grabs DDP, pulls him back into the ring, and hits a chokeslam on him. And I just thought, what a heel, dude.
Yeah.
What a heel.
Exactly. Super heel move. You can't get out of the door because your lady locked it up, and you tell the dude to leave, and you pull him back in. Like, it's definitely a heel move, for sure. And then pulling him up at the 2 count, those are all heel moves. So, DDP is such heat for this creepy stalker stuff that I guess it works. So,
right.
But as he goes and it's weird because Taker actually looks at Sarah too. And he's like, "This is for you, baby," and as he's about to hit the last ride, and it's just weird to hear him say that. Just how far we've come. So
we really have here as Taker makes the cover to end this extended, painful, ugly squash match that. I felt like I was watching Superstars, like I was saying earlier, not SummerSlam, because this is just complete and utter domination for the Brothers of Destruction. But they do get their second WWF Tag Team title win right here and become double champions, WCW and WWF Tag Team Champions of the world. Yeah, man. So, pinfall. So only about 10 minutes and 15 seconds. So, I just wrote in my notes here that DDP gets the last ride of relevance, basically, for his career. So, it's gone. JR on commentary says DDP should have brought bolt cutters or wire cutters instead of a diamond cutter here.
Yeah. He knew he had to get that in there.
Yeah,
so
good line.
Then the brothers are celebrating in the ring with their double tag team gold, and Sarah gets in the ring, and she's like in DDP's face and pointing a finger at him and telling him off, and it's just, I don't know. It's too much, man. It's done. I'm so ready for this to be over with.
Yeah, I think everyone involved was.
Disappear, yeah. I think Taker's over it and for a shoot. I think DDP is over it for a shoot. Like, let's just move on. Kindly leave. Let's just go. So Kane does his little pose and makes Pyro shoot out of the corners, and the brothers raise the gold as we close this chapter.
Yes. After 4 hours of going through stalker angle stuff. We don't quite get to close the chapter. We get to do that on next week's episode with one last complete and utter burial of DDP. But I would say whatever you do, folks, do not watch this match. I would go back and watch Lance Storm versus Edge or the main event with Angle and Austin or literally any other match on this show. Go watch, but don't watch this one, folks.
Yeah, this is the one to skip. So, and I think this match is third from the top too, which is weird. So, it just is what it is. So we forgot to mention that, but yeah, I think it's third from the top. So, definitely negative third underneath the bottom for me, even as far as when we start recapping top 10 matches of this era. So
yeah, I really hope it doesn't crack my top 10. I hope it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah. Well, just wait till next week, folks.
Oh man. We're glad we were able to watch it instead of you guys and suffer through it for you. And we're going to keep suffering for you next week as we get to another bizarre match when you look at The Undertaker's career as we keep rolling into the last ride and talk about Unforgiven 2001 as Undertaker and Kane defend the WCW tag team titles, not the WWF tag team titles. They're going to drop those here soon enough, but they're going to defend those against Bryan Adams and Brian Clark. Chronic as unbelievably The Undertaker's feud with freaking Steven Richards and the RTC is going to come back from the dead, Travis.
Yes, it is. So that's a little teaser for you guys next week. Crush and Adam Bomb are coming back. So we covered them on Coliseum Home Videos. And we've covered Crush a lot, actually, and DOA and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, another iteration of some BSK brothers coming back and helping a brother out. Or not.
Well, I can see you dancing on the table right now to talk about Steven Richards yet again, and I know you're going to bust out the white shirt and tie for next week's episode.
I'm going to dye my hair jet black. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, that's what we're talking about here, folks, but we want to hear what you thought about this match, about Undertaker and Kane, DDP and Kanyon, what you thought about this whole feud. And, of course, we'll wrap that all up with one final burial on next week's episode. And, yes, folks, we're going to talk about Sarah versus DDP as well on next week's show. So tune in for that one. Let us know what you thought about this one on social media at Talking Taker on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you go over to the Instagram page, you can look at the highlights on there. I actually did sort of a live watch along to a couple of those Superstars episodes, made some commentary on Instagram to one of those. So go check that out. It was fun. Might do some more of that as we go along, but follow us along. We post different stuff on all of those. Classic stuff. Travis, you posted some rare 2001 website stuff from
Holy jeez,
that
man.
OVW thing we talked about.
Somebody's Angel Fire. Yeah, somebody's Angel Fire link that was still active from they actually went to that OVW Save the Last Dance. No, not Save the Last Dance. But OVW Last Dance show and had some pictures where they met The Undertaker and they met
Julia Stiles.
Giant Big Show.
Oh, Big Show.
Julia Childs, not Julia Stiles.
Julia Child.
Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, anyway, so much here. But it was pretty cool, man. Check that out. Check out all of our social media. Alex is killing it on there, and I'm trying to do my due justice. Thank you guys for checking out my debut on WWF television.
That's right.
As
find that on there.
Rhino's #1 fan. So, Anyway, thanks for your feedback about that. We're trying not to make another 3-hour episode, but it had to be done.
It had to be done. It had to be done. We appreciate you for listening. Go, of course, check out our friends over on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, going through Stone Cold's career. They're talking about a lot more fun stuff than we are right now. So good luck to those guys, although they'll have to suffer too once they get to this portion of things. But kudos to those guys. Thanks for everyone who follows us, and to the Turk, Turco, putting his baby in the Talking Taker Easy shirt at the Royal Rumble. Although there was no Undertaker sighting at the Royal Rumble.
No,
we are getting into WrestleMania season though, and the rumor mill is flowing. We'll talk about that as things come along. If Undertaker decides to come out of hibernation for an appearance this year at WrestleMania, we'll of course mention that on the show. But until then, we're gonna stick here in 2001 on next week's show.
Absolutely. I think shout out to D-Lo Hoop. I believe she was listening to us in line for a indie show this past weekend. So thanks for doing that and spreading the love, you guys. And if you were there at the Compact Center in San Jose, California,
we're sorry.
We're sorry if you had to sit through this. Tell us how the popcorn tastes when you went and got it during this match. Let us know were the bathrooms nice when you went there during this match. Let us know what happened. Let us know if Taker actually had this stupid song or Rollin'. And let us know, we do want to know, all of you guys, who better than Kanyon. So we'd like to know what you guys would say. You just send us a list of who you guys think are better than Kanyon. So
send us a blank sheet of paper.
Nobody. So
I'll tell you what though, man, I was shocked. A lot of our followers said they loved the DDP storyline and they loved the invasion stuff. Man, it was very surprised to hear that feedback on last week's show. So I wonder if that extends to this match.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to hear. So we love you guys' feedback, and all that can be said now is just the famous 2 words: take her easy.
Oh, and now the Intercontinental Champion, Lance Storm, is now with us. Perfect. So you have the Intercontinental Champion, you have the Hardcore Champion, Rob Van Dam, and of course the creme de la creme, the World Wrestling Federation Champion himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's a beautiful match.
Three-belt title match. Last night we won Invasion. I was the MVP. Won Invasion. Stone Cold. I'm a huge fan. Big fan. Who is this guy? Chris Kane. I was the MVP last night.
He's with us.
MVP. Last night? What'd you say on the... That says, who better than Kane? I screamed it out, and the fans screamed back. Hey, nobody. Look at me. I'll tell you who better than Chris Kanyon. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Do you understand that? Absolutely. Now I'll say, who better than Kane besides Stone Cold Steve Austin? I'll start doing that.